if miracles and the unexplained are more common than we think? Welcome to Speaking of Miracles. I'm your host, Isabella. If you want more stories that make you question the world around you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and be one of the first to know when I post more content like this. Today, we are discussing a topic that has intrigued humanity for decades: alien encounters. Are we truly being visited by intelligent life from other planets? Or are these UFO sightings just the result of misidentifications and hoaxes? Let's explore some of the most recent and puzzling UFO encounters, analyze the evidence, and take a look at some of the eyewitness video footage and testimony. To do that, let's start this year, a few months back on April 12th. This is when a local resident of Navarre, Florida, was out walking on a quiet evening. The sun had already set and the sky was painted with deep hues of orange. And then they noticed something strange in the sky, and it was hovering slightly in front and above them. It looked like a blue triangular object, and at first they really didn't think much of it. This was not their first walk. This was something they did regularly. They walked down the same area, and they had witnessed in this area several drones, several of the local residents. This is where they fly their drones. And then it happened. The object moved in ways that a drone just could not any they've ever seen before. And on top of that, the speed was way too fast to be a drone. Suddenly, the local residents realized that the object was not a drone. Thinking quickly, they fumbled in their pocket, pulled out their phone, and pressed record. This is the footage that was taken that night. Here, we can see the blue oval object moving in ways that are not consistent with any known human-made aircraft or drone for that matter. And this footage might have just collected dust as just another unexplained object in the sky that was caught on footage by some random person walking along. But this resident was not the only eyewitness. 3 military personnel were in the middle of a standard training operation, practicing maneuvers in a secluded area that was away from the city so that they could get away from the lights. They needed more of a dark space to do their training. Now, keep in mind, they're far away from the city, and not only is the area around them dark, but the sky as well. So it would be theoretically easier for them to see something strange, especially if it was some sort of light in the sky. During that particular night's training, one of the soldiers noticed an unusual light in the sky. Initially thinking it might be an aircraft, he just pointed it out to the 2 other soldiers. And it did not take long, though, for all of them to realize this was no ordinary plane or helicopter. The object was triangular. It was slightly larger than a commercial Airbus. It appeared to be black, almost camouflaged against the night sky. But what gave it away was they counted approximately 16 visible lights that were on the object, and they were arranged in a pattern that is not typical of any known aircraft. And the way that object was moving in the sky was also really strange. There was no sound coming from it like would be from your typical helicopter or aircraft. Another thing, it came close to them and sort of hovered over in where their position was for a moment. Obviously, they felt fear, and they all looked at each other and just kind of didn't know words, and with a silent understanding, they did their best to remain calm and observe what they could. Without warning, that object began to move, but instead of flying over the horizon, it performed a maneuver that seemed impossible. It ascended rapidly, appearing to leave Earth's atmosphere rather than traveling horizontally. The motion was smooth and it was fast. There was no sound that you would expect to hear from a typical aircraft One of these soldiers, who wishes to remain anonymous to this day, later described the encounter, and I quote, "I've seen all sorts of aircraft during my service, but this was something entirely different. The way that it moved, the silence, it was like nothing I've ever experienced. We all stood there, just watching, almost in disbelief. When it shot up into the sky, it was like it just vanished into the space." The Navarre, Florida sighting is one of the most compelling UFO encounters of 2024 thus far, thanks in part to the credible eyewitnesses and the detailed observations that were recorded. The involvement of those trained military personnel adds a layer, if you will, of authenticity to the report. In addition, many experts have analyzed that video footage that the local resident took, and they noted the lack of sound, the sharp turns, and the speed, which are all characteristics that are not consistent with current human technology. So it correlated directly with what the soldiers' account of the incident was. So, as we leave the mysterious encounter of Navarre behind, our journey through the skies brings us to another baffling event, this time occurring in Henderson, Nevada. This year, May 13th, and it was a warm night in Henderson, Nevada. Katrina and her friends were celebrating a birthday outdoors. They're all having a great time. They're having a great birthday party. And someone from the party says, "Hey, what's that bright light in the sky?" And at first, everybody just assumed it was a star. But then they all noticed something really strange about this supposed star. This star was moving, zipping around, stopping abruptly, then shooting off at incredible speeds. This was not a star. The witnesses at the party described it as surreal, like something out of a sci-fi movie. And you know, this is a party, so there are multiple witnesses. They're outside, they're witnessing it, and they're all reporting similar descriptions of what they are seeing. The object's moving patterns, rapid acceleration, sharp turns, and sudden stops were all beyond the capabilities of current drone or aircraft technology. No one has came forward. There's been no conventional explanation, such as a weather balloon or natural phenomena, that could account for the object and then the observed behavior from the object. Now let's turn our attention back to, here in July 2024. And we're going to go to Red Rocks Amphitheatre in Colorado. And this is a stage for music, but on this night, it was a stage for more than just music. It was a clear summer evening, and as the sun began to dip below the horizon, a dozen or more employees and people that were there, concert goers, witnessed a really bizarre phenomenon. Amidst the music that was echoing through the natural rock formations, there was an unusually bright light that appeared in the sky. Initially, everyone thought it was probably a star or a satellite, but then that light began to move erratically, and so it's capturing the attention of the crowd. It was described as kind of like a spaceship. The object was hovering slightly. Its presence was unsettling, obviously, to everyone there, and it was emitting a really soft, pulsating glow that was illuminating that amphitheater below. So the witnesses, so you've got your security personnel, you've got your staff members, you've got the concert goers, they're all reporting a similar experience. You got this triangular craft that was just moving silently, gracefully even, they said, emitting this light, and it lasted for several minutes. So it allowed a lot of time for people to pull out their phones, capture videos, and still pictures. As suddenly as it had appeared, that craft vanished into the night sky. So it left leaving behind a mix of awe and what just happened, right? The event quickly became a topic of heated discussion, so it drew interest of UFO enthusiasts and skeptics alike. The Red Rocks sighting is probably one of the most significant and well documented so far, along with the other Navarre, Florida sighting, because you have either credible or multiple witnesses, you have photographic evidence that adds to its credibility. In that same month, so July, a mass UFO sighting occurred over a military base in California, and it is capturing the attention of both military personnel and civilians. So again, in July, warm night, you have more than 50 witnesses observing what appears to be a triangular shaped craft hovering silently again above the base. The object was first noticed by a group of off-duty soldiers who saw a really peculiar alignment of lights in the sky. Remember the other one. The triangular craft was massive, and lights were at each corner that just brightly shone against the dark backdrop of the sky. Unlike any known aircraft, it was moving along with sort of an eerie stillness, making absolutely no noise. Witnesses described feeling a sense of fear and awe at the same time as they watched this craft just hover and then maneuver effortlessly across the base. Several witnesses managed to film the event, so it captured that craft's distinctive shape and its silent glide across, hovering above the base. These videos are shared widely on social media, and they're sparking really intense debate and speculation. Was it a secret military project or something not of this world? Now, Jeremy Corbell, who is a journalist known for investigating work on UFO phenomena, quickly took an interest in this sighting. He's interviewed dozens of witnesses, but he interviewed witnesses and analyzed the footage, adding a layer of legitimacy to the encounter, because this is a man that this is what he does. He's a UFO journalist. The sighting at the California military base has been a real focal point for discussions on UFOs, with many calling for a really thorough investigation into that mysterious craft that was in the skies that July night. So this remarkable event was just the beginning, because as another equally baffling encounter unfolded back in 2023. So we're going to go back a little bit, and this is in Newark, New Jersey. So at the airport specifically. So picture a busy ordinary evening at Newark Airport. Planes are taking off and landing, and pilots are focused on their flights. People are busily trying to catch their flights. Except this night would not be ordinary at all. During one takeoff, an experienced airline pilot spots something very unusual, a blue oval object, again, hovering near the aircraft. This pilot had flown countless hours, and according to his statements, has seen all sorts of weather and aircraft, but this one was different. So different, in fact, that it caught his attention immediately. The object was blue, oval, and moved in ways that really defied physics. The pilot reported that it was there 1 second and gone the next. Now, normally these types of incidents that happen, they're really not taken seriously. Well, they're disregarded because most of these types of incidents are assumed to be something explainable, especially at an airport. So you're talking about weather or other aircraft, for example. But this pilot's report was taken seriously, not only due to his extensive experience, but also radar data confirmed the presence of an unidentified object in the vicinity of the aircraft. However, the object disappeared from radar just as quickly as it appeared. So that followed along with what the pilot said, here 1 minute, gone the next. Yet this incident is actually just one of hundreds of similar reports, each of those adding another piece to the puzzle of these unexplained phenomena. Now, you might be asking yourself at this point, why should this concern me? Or even, it doesn't matter as long as nothing bad is happening from these encounters. And this would lead us to the bigger picture. Well, why? Let me explain why there's a bigger picture. For decades, we know that the U.S. government consistently denied the existence of UFOs. They would attribute it to sightings, they would attribute these sightings to misidentified aircraft, weather balloons, or some sort of natural phenomena. This stance actually began in the late 1940s, most notably with the infamous Roswell incident in 1947, where there was a supposed weather balloon explanation given for a crash of an unidentified object. The skepticism persisted through the Cold War era with projects like Project Blue Book, which really's goal is to investigate and debunk these UFO reports. However, in recent years, a significant shift has occurred. In 2017, the Pentagon confirmed the existence of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, better known as AATIP. It had been secretly and is secretly investigating UFOs. This was followed by the release of declassified Navy videos in 2020 showing encounters with unidentified aerial phenomena that exhibited really advanced flight capabilities. Finally, in June 2021, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence released a highly anticipated report acknowledging that many of these sightings remain unexplained, making a historic change in the government's approach to UFOs. This new transparency actually culminated in 2023 with the establishment of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, better known as the AARO, which is reinforcing the government's commitment to investigating UFOs, now known though as UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. The U.S. government has been logging hundreds of UAP sightings. So far, this year, in 2024, over 350 new reports have been added, many of which remain unexplained. These sightings often come from really credible sources like military pilots and radar operators, which only add to their legitimacy. I want you to keep in mind that the AARO was established to study these phenomena. Their aim is to determine if these objects pose any national security threats. However, even with thorough investigations, they are not able to identify most of the reported UAPs. Well, you might be asking yourself, why? Why can't they identify them? Because many UAPs continue to exhibit flight characteristics and performance capabilities that defy current technological understanding, complicating efforts to assess their potential threat. I will tell you, research is ongoing, so that can change. But the debate remains, and some argue that we don't need these committees and these different, organizations to research whether or not, these encounters are happening, because it's evidence that it's actually happening with the countless witness testimonies. Others could believe that it's advanced human-made technology, perhaps natural phenomena that we don't yet understand. And keep in mind, I only discussed a tiny fraction of reported sightings of UAPs. What about the ones that are not reported, or the ones that we actually miss? At this point, research into these sightings has not determined if these UAPs actually pose a safety risk. So we can probably assume that the origin or origins of the UAPs also remains unknown. What we do know is that the stated mission of the AARO and other organizations are to remain committed to uncovering the truth. And they will do this by employing rigorous scientific methods and maintaining transparency with the public. Despite these commitments to truth and transparency, the government's past denials they raise questions about the credibility of their current claims. We understand that each new sighting potentially adds another piece to the puzzle, And we hope that sooner rather than later, there will be a clearer picture that emerges. However, the timeline for uncovering that full truth really remains uncertain. We don't know if it could take weeks or years or even decades before we truly understand the nature of these encounters. As we wait, we know that the question remains: are we alone in the universe, or are these sightings proof of visitors from another world? The evidence is compelling, the witness is credible, and the mystery still unresolved. And as we ponder these extraordinary events, I ask you, dear listener, do you truly need scientific evidence to believe in the existence of these phenomena? Or do you trust what your eyes have seen, what your ears have heard, and what witnesses have reported? Consider the countless accounts from credible individuals who have experienced unexplainable sightings and encounters. Are these personal testimonies any less valuable than data collected by scientists? And how are they collecting this data if they don't really know what they're looking at? The future of our world in the context of alien visits is both an intriguing and complex topic. If indeed we are being visited by extraterrestrial beings, it opens up a myriad of possibilities for our understanding of the universe and our place within it. Such encounters could potentially lead to significant advancements in technology, science, and our collective consciousness. The confirmation of alien visits would indeed challenge our current paradigms and possibly unify humanity in unprecedented ways as we confront the reality that we are not alone. However, it also raises questions about our readiness to engage with and understand these visitors. What are their intentions and the broader implications for our society? As we continue to explore and investigate these phenomena, the future may hold profound and transformative discoveries that could reshape our world forever. In a world where not everything can be neatly measured and quantified, perhaps it's worth asking ourselves if our reliance on scientific proof sometimes blinds us to the truth that is right in front of us. As we wrap up this episode, I invite you to keep your eyes to the sky and your mind open to the possibilities of the unknown. Challenge your beliefs and reflect on what you think you know about our place in the cosmos. The universe is vast, and it is filled with mysteries waiting to be uncovered. So whether you trust in scientific evidence or find truth in the countless witness accounts, or both, one thing is certain: there is much more out there than we can imagine. If you like this content and you want more content that challenges you and your reality, like, share, subscribe, and you can be one of the first to know the next time I post. Trust me, you will want to stick around for more. Until next time, keep looking up and wondering what wonders await beyond the stars.